Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 23rd of 2020, and of course, a lot of fans have been very skeptical about the future of Star Wars by Disney, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, and everybody else involved over at Lucasfilm to really deliver something very special for Star Wars fans around the world. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Disney Star Wars is that they really are trying their absolute best to head in a more positive route for Star Wars fans. What they essentially want to do is they really want to make it as successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we've been talking about this for a very long time now, is that Chapek really wants to create a legacy of his own. He really wants to create his own image among the Star Wars fans for them to look up to him in order to really have hope that Star Wars is going in a better direction. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited. You know, given that Kathleen Kennedy no longer has creative control, at least for the most part, over the new Star Wars projects in the early development phase, except for 2, I gotta say, I mean, I really am very, intrigued to see exactly what George, John, and Dave are gonna do with the future of Star Wars. However, a lot of fans have always been very curious about director and writer Rian Johnson, who, of course, was the one responsible for creating such a divide within the Star Wars fandom with The Last Jedi back in December of 2017, and a lot of fans were very curious about his new Star Wars trilogy. Now, we do know, and this has been pretty much a thing for a while now, is that not so long ago, Bob Chapek split the trilogy into 3 separate spin-off films for other creatives to take over. And what's really intriguing is, of course, what Rian Johnson was going to do with the new Star Wars trilogy of his own that I personally think was going to be a disaster and was going to be a complete train wreck at that. So now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are now focused on their new Star Wars universe, as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films. It's explained that recently Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been making major changes to the Star Wars franchise at Lucasfilm behind the scenes in order to create a better future for Star Wars. Not so long ago, Chapek split the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy into 3 separate films, where it's noted that however Rian did not have a script for his trilogy, he had many concepts that were already developed between himself and Ram Bergman. Now, it's described that Rian Johnson's trilogy was going to experiment with the use of time travel and would even dive into the concept of a multiverse being used in the Star Wars franchise to create endless material. Rian Johnson's trilogy was originally going to deal with the new warriors that held the ability to use the vitality to travel through hyperspace using these unnamed creatures as a vessel to use hyperspace in the Star Wars trilogy. Now, it's explained that this trilogy would also dive into a brand new galaxy that would be different than the one used in the traditional Star Wars films, that would showcase new powers to be used by these new warriors. The trilogy would focus away from lightsabers and purely on Force powers. The best way to describe the trilogy was a mixture of Harry Potter and science fiction. The theme that Rian was shooting for was Harry Potter in space to create something very unique for Star Wars fans around the world, to actually witness a different tone for Star Wars. Alright, so here's the thing about this trilogy, alright? I think that a lot of fans would say that this could very well work as its own science fiction movie in and on itself, but to me, this does not work for Star Wars. It just does not, in any way, shape, or form. You know, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but this would have been the ultimate disaster for Star Wars. Let's dissect this. Now, number 1. Alright, creating a new power called the Vitality instead of the Force. To me, if it's Star Wars, you have to have the Force embedded within the overall story. It's just what Star Wars is at the end of the day, right? It's all about the Force. It's all about the galaxy that we all know and love. Number 2 is how they were going to focus away from Jedi and lightsaber use. They were only going to focus on these new warriors that would actually be not affiliated with the traditional Jedi. So you could see what Rian was aiming for. He was aiming to really try hard, to really develop something unique and original for fans that they would have never seen before if, of course, it weren't for Rian Johnson. Now, Rian Johnson and Ram Bergman, they worked together on The Last Jedi. They were also going to work on these new movies, these 3 new Star Wars films, that were only going to be the beginning, if you will, of this new Star Wars universe. Basically, he was going to deal with the concept of a multiverse and alternate realities and time travel, all this crazy, wacky stuff, in my opinion. For Star Wars, it just does not fit. I think it really needs to have context. It really needs to have true meaning to use that, and not just throwing it in there for no reason in order to be creative or original, just because. I feel that the Worlds Between Worlds worked because of the lore that came behind it, and exactly how it was used in a very unique way between Ahsoka, Vader, and of course, Ezra Bridger. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.